Alright, so here we are, coaching Anti-Mage, our boy, Geordie 411. It's the one. Crusader 5 in what looks to be like an Archon 2 average game. So yeah. It looks like it's going to be a pretty rough lane, although Axe has leveled Counter Helix level 1. It's a little bit weird, but it allows him to cut the wave. I still think that Battle Hunger and challenging the farm is way stronger. Ogre's leveled Ignite, which is fine. I have seen a lot more people going the Fire Blast build now, and just sort of ignoring Ignite and just hitting people with Bloodlust and Fire Blast, but it makes sense as to why you wouldn't do that with Axe. So I'm just going to speed it up a little bit till the game starts. Challenge for the rune. Good level mana burn, that's good. Get a lot of good harass in there, that's really strong. And 3 bounty runes, perfect. He tries to cut the first wave, but he can't. That's actually why Axe has stopped doing this, because you need that first wave of experience. Okay, so just gonna rewind a bit here. So on this first wave, you've got an Undying who has basically half HP and almost no mana. You give him the 2-man decay, which is not good, but here, you give him a free last hit. You know Axe is not there, you can see him on the map, he's cutting the wave, so there is no reason that this Undying should be anywhere near creeps. You should be walking forward, hitting him really hard. Like, your creeps are all pretty healthy, the ones that you want the gold from, so there's no reason to be standing back here or be worried at all. You can get forward, you can hit him. You've got way more regen than him. He's only got 1 tango left. You just hit him like 3 times, he has to eat that tango, he can't come back to lane. So here, you decide to trade with him when a creep is about to die. You miss the last hit, you get 1 hit in, he gets 2. And I hope you get this creep. But now Ogre is going to start zoning him, hopefully. Yeah, you do get that creep. So this is good harass, but you've got to be very aware because you just missed another range creep. So you've now paid 90 gold for the attacks that you've done. Whereas if you do them at the very start and then focus on last hitting, that's way better. Even if you kill him here, it's not worth missing those 2 last hits. You definitely want to prioritize for the first 5 minutes of the game, get as many last hits and denies as possible, and just try to harass the other hero, don't try to kill them. You just want to make them uncomfortable to stand in lane to try and contest farm. But kills don't really mean that much, because kills mean you get maybe a creep wave worth of gold, but almost no experience because he's level 1. So yeah, you get a bunch of gold, but you get like no experience, and he comes back to lane full health, full mana, and potentially with more regen because he didn't need to use the courier. So it's actually better to not kill them a lot of the time early on, unless you can get it for basically nothing and miss no last hits for it, in which case go for it. But like here, he's getting another last hit that he shouldn't be, because you're a bit confused as to what to do without creeps, I guess.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So your last hitting on the tower is okay. You've got 53 damage and a Quelling Blade, so you should be able to just last hit all of the creeps because you've got level 1 mana break as well. So you shouldn't have to worry about missing a last hit ever, actually, unless you get unlucky. He pre-hits that for you, which is nice, although it's not necessary, but you should get 100% of these last hits, which is nice and easy for you. And this is actually probably the best thing that could happen to your lane. If Axe wants to sit there and farm there, and you can sit here and farm here, just ship yourself like 9 tangos and just live with it. Probably not 9, it's a bit overkill, but like another set of tangos if you need them, once you run out of these ones. And once you get the Ring of Health, it's 100% sustainable, and you get as much farm as possible. You really shouldn't be running there, you should be up here farming. So you are going to miss this entire wave, unless you teleport or blink. Yeah, okay, so you're going to miss 1 or 2. And you pre-hit a couple, so you missed that last hit actually. But the general rule for last hitting at a tower is if you're going to do, on average, 60 damage. I think that's the number. Like, if this number is 60, so that times the multiplier of this, then you pre-hit every creep once before the tower finishes it, and then the last one you should be able to get. And if you have more than 60 damage, so like 50 plus a Quelling Blade or 58 plus a Quelling Blade, then you just let the tower do all the damage until the last hit, and then you should get it most of the time, if not all the time. And so this is sort of showing to be pretty consistent. The ones that you just completely ignore, you're getting all the last hits. So this shouldn't be an issue for you. You're actually farming very well. If you look at net worth, you're above the mid, which is great. And Axe is above you because you missed a few going for the harass, and when you ran down here to maybe try and contest him. But other than that, you've been farming freely. So yeah, this is
Dire's top tower is under attack.
as a really bad teleport, because even if you get that kill, it's not worth what you're missing here. Like, you'll get the same amount of gold, but this is worth way more experience. Killing him will net you about 80 experience, and this is like almost 150. So although it's very niche, yeah, you get 213 gold, but you miss a creep wave. So like, yeah, I don't agree with that rotation. Yeah, the thing that's most important at the early game is experience. You hit that one a little bit early, that's unfortunate, but this is just stuff that you get with practice. I can't really, other than telling you like the threshold for whether you should pre-hit it or not, the rest is on you. There's like mini games you can practice it in. So here you kind of get zoned out because you're scared of him. Axe is only scary when you have a creep wave around you. So right here, if you walk through the top here and contest these creeps, you can get all of these last hits. And he's not going to kill you because you've got a Tango and a Salve. So at worst, he does a little bit of damage with Battle Hunger, but you should get a last hit pretty quickly, so it shouldn't do that much. And then it's just his right clicks, where he does 62 damage. Of course, like, you don't want to be hitting him back, yeah? But if he is aggroing you at this MMR, he's probably going to pull the aggro of the tower, and that's going to ruin him pretty bad. And he's never going to be able to get a call off and just completely kill you. You'll always be able to get the blink out, because he doesn't even have Culling Blade yet. Instead, you miss another creep wave, which is not great, but like, I get why it's happened. There, he tries the Battle Hunger, you get the last hit instantly, now you're doing it. So like, he can't really contest you unless he brings the creeps with him. At which point, he's in danger of like completely just getting wrecked. So Invoker rotates over. So same issue again, you blink forward, you miss 3 creeps. I get why you went forward. I would sort of, as an anti-mage, your job isn't to get the kills or make space early. That's on pretty much everyone else on your team, every game. Unless you're going like some sort of mid-vanguard anti-mage, but that's very niche and only good against Storm Spirit, blah, blah, blah. So like in that situation, Invoker goes for the kill. I would, unless you have your ultimate, even then, like, it's an Axe Undying. They've got 300 mana, 500 mana. They're not really going to be getting much damage from this ultimate. I would just be hitting the creeps. And then, if it does look like it's going well, blink forward, try and get a last hit on a hero. But, and like, your team may get angry at you for it, but I think it's way more worthwhile for you to get that 120 gold here off that rotation than it is to blink forward, miss all the gold, maybe get a kill. In this situation, you don't get the kill. Like, hindsight's a great thing, yeah. But in this situation, you don't get the kill, and instead just lose 120 gold for an Invoker's rotation. Whereas if you take all the golden experience, then at least you get something out of the rotation, guaranteed, and maybe it reduces the chances of you getting the kill, but it's like what the anti-mage needs to do. You just need to hit that Battle Fury timing so that you can start taking over the game in terms of farm. tower falls. I mean, it's not the worst thing because it means you're going to have more space to farm. You can just farm these 2 camps and then rotate up when it's at your tier 2. So like here you should be pulling creep aggro off the tower. You're a little bit low, so it's understandable that you didn't. So you've now rotated down here. Let's go with your player perspective for a bit. You're looking for the kills more so than you're trying to farm. So this is what's going to be heavily impacting you and your ability to hit the timings you want on things. Like Underlord is farming and you're kind of just standing around. There's a tier 1 that's pushed onto your tower and there's this tier 2 lane here. So let's say a situation like this happens again and you're on a hero like Anti-Mage or PL or Ursa. Ursa's a bit different because like he would probably beat the Axe in lane, but like one of those heroes that just needs the first item. So like PL needs a Diffusal, Anti-Mage needs a Battle Fury, Ursa needs his Blink Dagger before they're an effective hero. Once this tier 1 tower falls, yeah, let's just turn this music down. As epic as it is. Once this tier 1 tower falls, they're either going to play in one of 2 ways, depending on the heroes they've got. And in this situation, they do have the axe, so they could go for what I'm about to say, but as we can see, they don't. Maybe it's because of where you are. But you should just be trying to farm like these camps, like boom, 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 and maybe this one. Try and get a ward like here, and just farm the jungle, and then as these creeps push in, you just try to farm them like in the safe zones. Once you see Axe on the map anywhere else, you can then push those creeps out as far as you can, and then just farm as much of the jungle as you can. But if Axe is missing, you just sort of farm the safer 2 camps, maybe this third one, depending on how you have wards, and if you have any sentries in your jungle to know that he can't see you doing it, and like if you know his Blink Dagger timing, and then the creep wave will naturally reach your tier 2 every now and then, you can farm all of that, and that's just a lot stronger. But essentially you've spent a couple minutes, like your tower fell at 7 minutes and you basically have farmed 1 big camp since. That's it. You've not hit any other creeps. So your mechanics seem fine, you're moving your camera decently. You are checking the map, which is good. I don't know how much you check other people's inventories, but we'll see. It's not the most important thing, but yeah, here you are. So you're now doing pretty decently with the idea of farming. In terms of, like, you're not getting all the creeps, which is okay, but you're following the idea that this is now the area that you can farm. You have pushed a little far forward because like you didn't have that ward that I spoke about, and you're sort of farming up in a more dangerous zone. If you're back here farming these until that creep wave came in, probably a bit more effective. In this situation, I would definitely buy treads before I finish this Battle Fury. I would probably have not even bought the Void Stone to finish the Perseverance because Perseverance doesn't give you 10 damage anymore. I probably would have spent that money straight on treads so that I know that I can jungle at a decent pace. Another item that's really good on Anti-Mage is an Aquila instead of the Void Stone. It does delay your Battle Fury timing a bit, but it helps you a lot in lane. Like, you're a lot more effective. You attack fast, you have armor, you give mana regen to your support, and you have enough mana regen to sustain your own blinks. And it just generally makes you stronger. Same with treads. Both of those things probably would have helped you in some of those skirmishes, and definitely would be helping you jungle.
Radiant structures are for Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So you do go for the treads. Okay, that's good. I really like that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Ooh, you cancel your Blink Dagger accidentally.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
You gotta turn on that teleport requires stop setting. It's always a good one.
Dire's middle tower. Radiant's top
I like your game sense there, in that you detect that Axe has gone past this point, so this camp is no longer really safe, because people are going to be rotating up to help him, and he could rotate back to you. That's good game sense. I would, yeah. So mid tower's in jeopardy. You can't really farm there. So now, well, until you get a ward up, which you have now, this is now safe, but other than that, I think this triangle becomes the safest zone. Ogre's nice in that he leaves you some last hits. And I'm guessing you're just going to farm away for a bit. Good, so you do this. You push out the wave, you farm. Ooh, you rotate on the axe. I don't like that. You need to spend a lot less time fighting. Unless you're playing fighting heroes like Ursa or Terrorblade when Metamorphosis comes off cooldown. You need to spend way more time fighting, farming. On a hero like Anti-Mage, the way that you have to view it is, unless you're losing a tier 3, like this is how I would play the pub in any game. Maybe less so in like higher mortal, because those games are a little bit weirder, but like in any game below that, I would play the Anti-Mage to farm for 20 to 25 minutes unless we're losing a tier 3 tower. I'm just trying to get as many items as I possibly can and get to the point where I am a huge threat on the map. That's a good rotation in, I guess you recognize that you have the mana void, you can just easily get a kill and then start farming again. And that's what I hope you do. I hope you just kill this and then go back to farming. Okay, so here you see them all fighting again, and I'm guessing you're rotating over to try and help get a kill. Your immediate play should be Axe is top, Willow is top. I think Sniper's showing on the map, I'm not sure. Yeah, Sniper was showing farming that. Your immediate play is to go bot and to farm this jungle. Tinker has taken it. I didn't see it through your perspective, I'm not sure if you did. But I would instantly be trying to push this as far as possible, like all the way down, and then farm this area of the jungle. Instead you rotate up here. You get nothing and you spend almost a minute not hitting creeps. So like these are nuanced things, because like I get that if you did get the kill here, maybe you get some money out of it. But I think it's just always better to go for creeps, unless you can have like this one blink for a mana void, get the kill, go back to farming. Like the only thing I would rotate on is a clean-up kill that's guaranteed. So now you're now rotating down here. I really think you should clean up these camps first. I'm going to see what your perspective was showing. Because it seemed like you really wanted to get out of this area. I'm not quite sure why. So you kill this creep wave. You see Axe middle. So you're completely safe. He's the only one in the game who can kill you solo. Or like even as a 3. You run down. Then you go, oh no, I'm going back to this. Kind of miss a few last hits, it's fine. Okay, I guess you see Undying. But like Axe is gone, so those two camps are completely safe. You then rotate past that camp. You're going down here? No, you're going back. Oh, you bought your battlefield, okay. You get some decent kills. That's pretty good, I like it. And back to farming. So what you want to be doing now is every time you see Axe on the map, you push to their tower, you farm the jungle. Because pushing them to the tower when you don't have a catapult is a really good way of getting the equilibrium going back the other way, so that the creeps come back here and now you can safely push 3 waves again. Yep, so now you should be going straight to the jungle and farming those camps. Axe rotates over. It's a good TP. Most people TP the base, but you TP back to the jungle. That's good, that's solid. You miss a stack, but I don't know, that's just happens sometimes. Happens to me more often than not anyway. You can farm the ancients at this point. And you probably should. Tinker grabs that rune. It's fine. Maybe you found the ancients. Yeah, nice. I'd like to see a little bit more tread switching when you blink. It's like the easiest time to do it. You just be on int every time you blink. Be on agi when you're hitting things. And it saves you a lot of mana. Because it's such a, like, just high usage spell that's not under a stress situation. So right now, you've got a teleport. And they're kind of doing this slow siege thing, but they don't really have any good tower hitters. There was a catapult, but there isn't anymore. Ooh, rewind a bit. So when you're here, Invoker's sort of pushing this out. So I get why you didn't stay. But I would try to be, like, you can see Axe. He showed when he cleared that last creep wave. I'd be trying to just stay on the opposite side of the map to Axe. He's got a blink blade mail at this point, he can kill you, 100%. So, once you kill this ancient camp, I would go down to these, kill these, maybe even go to that, cut the creep wave here at like at 45 past when that next one comes through. Or maybe at like 50 past when that next one comes through. And then just keep doing that and just push this wave down to this tier 2. Because it means that if they take ages sort of messing around here trying to get this tower, you're going to take this entire tower. Whereas instead what you do, and you're going to get a lot of farm out of it. Instead what you do is you rotate down here, you killed those ancients at 30 seconds past. And so you get 2 last hits there, 3. And then you're just sort of going to spend the next amount of time standing around. So in a minute, in exactly a minute, you got 3 last hits. So that's 120 GPM. Which is definitely a detrimental play. Like, I understand there are times where like you just get completely shat on in lane and you're going to have a late Battle Fury timing and like you're going to be a little bit underfarmed. But stuff like this will definitely fix it. In terms of they're not going to be completely shutting you down all over the map. And if they are, they're not going to be taking objectives. And so if they spend their entire game shutting you, the anti-mage, down, then the rest of your team is going to thrive pretty well because they're going to have space to farm, they're going to have space to counter gank, etc. So you're still going. You want to rotate for something. You still haven't hit a creep for a while. This is very position 1 focused, but like it has to be because all the roles are very different. This is a pos 1 game. So Axe is dead, so you're completely safe to farm whatever you want.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Finish it. Yeah, Yasha, that's good. Okay, you get a free kill out of it. That's cool. Axe goes top. This is really good for you. You know, get a bunch of space to farm. So you see Axe, so now you should be pushing this lane hard. This is now your space to farm. Tell everyone else to go the fuck away. It's all you. This is good. So they're now taking this slow siege top, but they're gonna kind of get out of it real quick because they realize they can't do it.
They're not killing us.
You shouldn't even be considering trying to kill anyone. Like maybe zoning them out of lane, but I wouldn't even think about going near sniper, just because your strength is later. You want to keep farming for now and get all these. Instead of waiting here, I would wait on the bounty rune. Just because it means you get it instantly, but Underlord gets it, so it's all good. That was a very aggressive blink. If we look on the map like prior, what do we see? We see no one. But we see Sniper hitting the creeps. Oh, sorry, we hear Tinker laying down marches. And then you blink in. Instantly get caught. I get why you would think there's no one there, but yeah, it's a little bit aggressive. Better to walk up so you can blink away. Because I think if you had to blink away, you live there.
Dire's middle tower.
Okay, so I liked this play of hitting Sniper a few times. I probably would have hit him to about here, then gone and farmed. Because you sort of apply enough pressure for maybe someone to rotate up, and then if you get out of there, it's a waste of TP. But instead, you do another aggressive blink on something that is definitely not a kill. If we check here, like at this point, Sniper had 700 HP, 700 mana missing. So to kill him, you do about a damage per mana, and then with resistance, so you're going to do about 400 damage. So then you need to do another 400 damage, which means that with 17 armor, he's got 50%. No, that's you. Yeah. Well, he's also got 17 armor. He's got almost 50% resistance to physical, and you right click for. Oh, you got 99. You right click for 170. So you need to hit him 5 times on a hero that is faster than you. Oh no, slower than you. But yeah, you need to hit him like 5 more times without anyone coming in. And Axe is just respawned. So I think that's very ambitious. I would just try and zone him out of lane, go back to farming, do your jungle rotation, probably go bot again, pressure this tier 2 tower. This tier 2 tower is like, you just sort of push to about here, and then farm these 2. And then push to about here, and then farm these 2. It's like a way safer area to be. It doesn't seem like it because it's like their jungle, but there's not many avenues they can gank you from. If you're like if you're keeping that pushed out, you can see that tower, so then the only play is teleport to the shrine and rotate through here. But if you're farming here, or if you're farming over here, you see it before they can get to you. And then you can also rotate up to this Ancients if you're farming fast enough, then come back down. Push this like creep wave with an extra range creep. That goes back to the tower. You go back to these camps, farm some more. So yeah, I hope, yeah, you've got to farm here. That's good. Oof. And then you go back to fight. I don't like this. You still haven't got your Manta. You really need it. It's almost 30 minutes into the game. You should just be focusing on the farm. Leave that. Leave this lane for whoever's respawning. Push this one out. Farm this jungle. Even if you need to, bring a ward. Place it so it can see the shrine. So you know all the rotations that are coming. So yeah. I don't want to give too many things to think about all at once. It's interesting to see how this will go. Because otherwise it just gets a bit confusing. I know that when I'm trying to improve stuff, I need to focus on one thing at a time for like 10, 20 games before it even like becomes an actual idea in my head. Probably 100 games until it starts being implemented properly. So I think the main thing that you should look at is your farming. So during a game, I want you to think about who on their team can kill you. Like, what do they need to kill you? So in this situation, it's Axe. If they don't have Axe, and you're not aggressively blinking on them, you don't die this game. Maybe if Willow channels all of her spells properly with his Yules, you die, but once you get the Manta, that's 100% not the case. It's only Axe. So then your objective is, how can I farm around Axe? Like, if I see Axe on one side of the map, I gotta be on the other side. If they're pushing a tower slowly, I gotta make sure that the way that I'm farming also pushes a tower. So that if they don't commit to going for that tower instantly, you're gonna take a tower for nothing, and then be able to join the fight if they start it. If they do start the fight instantly, and it looks like it's going well, and you feel like you can get some kills, or it looks like they need you, then you can rotate, but I still think it's just better to keep going unless it's a tier 3 fight. I think if you can trade a tier 1 for a tier 2 and 3 creep waves, if you can trade a tier 2 for a tier 1 and 3 creep waves, as an anti-mage, that's a win. Like, it'll get you closer to your Manta, it'll get you closer to whatever item you're getting next, maybe a heart, so that you don't die in an Axe call, and it just generally helps you a lot in that way. If they do take a while to push the tower, like let's say they take a while, you take the tier 1, then they commit, now you're taking a tier 2, and now it's a 2 tower for 1 tower situation. And that's like the threat of anti-mage. He's super mobile, he's very quick to get to those lanes opposites from the side that you as a team are trying to push, and that he can pressure anything that you're not pressuring. That's what makes him strong. So now 5-3-1. That's not the worst score, but yeah. So now you're doing it. You see that they're all top, you're pushing bot, you're pushing it hard, that's good. But then you rotate back. I need to slow this down to watch what happened. So Invoker's dead. He died a while ago. So you're rotating to kill Sniper. So I guess it was an okay rotation. I would have stayed to clear one more creep wave, because that would have gotten this tower, and then I would have teleported back. Instead, you teleported back 30 seconds early, and ran around with a Manta Illusion, which kind of helped, but like, Underlord has a bunch of shit to slow him down. Like, he can Crimson Guard the tower, you guys have Glyph, so you are able to take this creep wave, make sure you get that tower, then go back. That's a little bit nuanced. But the way that I want you to think about it is, with a hero like Anti-Mage, you only want to teleport back at the last possible second, like, to actually contribute to the fight. Other than that, you want to be pressuring anything that you can. So you go on the Sniper, you get that kill, that's really good. Then you... No, you're still going to live. Nope, you're dead. So... The Manta play was cute, in that it kind of worked. Like, it distracted them a bit, it got Axe to call nothing, but you have to remember why you bought it. Like, why a Manta style is good this game, and it's for Dark Willow. Once you buy that, Dark Willow can't do anything to you. All of her stuff is like very visible that it's happening. If you held your Manta to even when you go in on the Sniper, you kill him a lot faster. Maybe you get out. Or you hold it until Cursed Crown comes on you. You use it to get out of Cursed Crown. You blink away. You live. Tinker doesn't kill you. And you do a nice cleanup. Buyback. That's good. Did you buy back? Yeah, you did. You clean up well. That's good. It's solid. Okay. I would always take the cast range at level 15. I think it is so exceptionally better. Because like the 15 agility, it's a bit of damage, it's a bit of move speed, it's a bit of attack speed. So you'd think it helps you farm faster, right? But if you increase your blink range from that, which is like 1100 to 1500, that's an extra 2/3. So instead of being able to blink like from here to this camp, you can blink from here to that camp. And that's super useful for like this stuff. Like you can blink from here all the way to this camp without walking in between. It saves you like a second and a half, and it's a lot more time than the 15 agility saves you. That's good cleanup rotation, and now you want to get... Now you definitely want to get the fuck down the bottom and push that in again. Most of the time you should just be thinking, how can I farm to put them under pressure? And I think that's the thing that if you focus on the most, it'll see the biggest difference in your games right now. And I probably wouldn't talk about much else until after that. Like after you do that in 5, 6, so there you were in perfect position to intercept that creep wave. That was like, I thought that was going to be a really ideal play. But then you rotate to the jungle. Underlord is doing your job a little bit, but now it's have to leave. The tower fell, so it's okay for you to be there. But I would try to push as much as possible until then. You clean up pretty hard here because Axe is dead, so there's nothing they can do. That's all good. Now you've gone the Basher, you get the Abyssal, I don't mind it. Personally, I would have gone for a hard over both. But it's fine. I can't argue with it. It's good catch for the sniper. Sort of guarantees a kill on anyone you go on. And gives you a little bit of health too. Or... So what happened here? So you're looking very healthy. You go in on the Undying, who was probably already dead, and then Axe calls you. So you really have to think, like, Undying is not going to be running around on his own at this stage of the game. He's a teamfight hero. So wherever he is, Sniper's probably behind him. Axe is probably around, unless he's off looking for you on the other side of the map. And Willow's probably with him. So I think you definitely don't want to be doing that unless you can see Axe. But yeah, you probably know that. It was just a game mistake. I do it all the time. Don't worry about it. But just try to keep that in your mind if that's not the case. Let's go back to the respawn. Do you guys lose a Rex here? I feel like you have to, right? Unless they just fuck around. They're just gonna fuck around. Alright. Where you go? You go bot. This is good. I like this a lot. You intercept the creeps early. You push. You push hard. You get the tower. This is great. So these are the plays you should be making. Sort of stand forward, blink, leave an illusion to kill those creeps, and then farm this jungle. Hiding in the trees is also a good play if you don't have vision in the jungle and can't see Axe. So I like that you are sort of aware of the game enough to be doing this. A lot of people will try to farm non-stop, including myself. It's very rare that I recognize that level of like danger, in that I need to just hide for a little bit. But now if you blink out or walk out, kill these creeps. Okay, that's fine. It's okay, Axe might have caught you if you did it, so I'm not gonna say you should have, but that's possible. You are looking for Axe. or you're waiting for Tinker. You're waiting for Tinker. And you get him. Nope, you don't get him. So, in this situation, Tinker does have an axe. So he is going to clear you in your illusions. So you should always try to hold Mana Void until you've been lasered. Because until then, you're going to do more and more damage, you're going to burn more and more mana. He's going to then spend mana on laser. And then there's nothing else that you can do because you're lasered. I'm actually curious. And once you're lasered, there's nothing else you can do. That's when you Mana Void and probably kill him. So here, you still don't have Blink, so yeah, you can't make another illusion, but he lasers you. He's only got 200 health left. Laser costs 170. How many times did he get hit after you Mana Voided? Let's break it down. Do the maths. Blink in, hit him a bunch. Mana Void, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he cops 6 hits, which is 300 mana. So he definitely would have died if you waited. This is like a specific hero-on-hero interaction where you don't have a BKB. But only Mana Void once you've been lasered. Unless like something's going to happen to stop you doing it. Unless it's like a guaranteed kill. But here, you're pressuring. Yep, this is good. You're going for Butterfly. I don't agree. There's not really any right-click heroes that don't like. The only reason you want to buy Butterfly is if they have a hero who doesn't like to build MKB. But Sniper fucking loves MKB. So I wouldn't build Butterfly. I'd definitely build a Heart because that stops Axe killing you. If you don't want a Heart, buy a BKB. You teleport base, fight this. This is okay. I agree with the play, actually. So that was a good play. I liked that use of Manta, because now Snipe has 0 mana. It's really solid. So you can now see Axe, which means there's no point in being scared. You should be farming this jungle aggressively. And you definitely want to be trying to get out to this lane. You've got TP off cooldown again. You want to get up here. You want to be in this lane, pushing this out again. Yeah, sort of the worst thing you can do as an anti-mage is wait for these fights, especially when you have, like, the only reason I would be waiting for this fight is if I've just used my teleport and I can't get back to the fight if I go somewhere else. But if you take the cast range and the cooldown, which I usually do, sometimes I take the illusions, not for any reason other than it's way more fun. But if you take the cast range and the cooldown, you can get there in like not even 10 seconds. Like, it's kind of messed up. And then you can push that hard, and then if they are spending time like chipping away at this tower, you're also chipping away at the tower, and then when the fight happens, you can be there. I feel like a bit of a broken record saying this because like you can't respond to these things, but I feel like it's important to reiterate every time that it should be happening. So you are doing it now. I get why you went for this one because it's like a little bit closer. You get more farm faster because you don't know when you have to go back, so I agree with it. The fight's good, you do well. huge kill. You should kill him twice. Oh, I need a bash, love it. Tinker wastes his buybacks. Now if you catch him, you win the game. But it seems like this game goes for a while longer. Let's push here. I don't like this teleport. I get why you done it, but yeah, I don't like it. I just feel like you could be cutting waves here, push farm and jump. Yeah, there's not a lot that can be done about that. Interesting buyback. I'd probably question it a little bit. Definitely a heart is what you should buy. I feel like at this point, you're just going to get to the point where you're pretty unkillable. Yeah. It's kind of just fucked up. If you buy a heart, they actually just can't kill you. A BKB kind of does the same thing, but on a cooldown. They can only get you when you do this aggressive blink on 21 butt sniper. Oh no way, you're gonna save that Rex. That's so fucked up. So there are a lot of times that you would have been benefited by the cast range and the cooldown so far. So in the games that you do play in the future, try taking those other two talents. I want to see if it changes anything immediately. Other than that, I'm not sure there's really a whole lot more I can garner from this game. So I'm going to leave it there. But I think the main thing you need to focus on, and I'll try and describe it as best I can without like an illustration, but it's like, in what way can I farm in order to always be considered an issue? Like if they're all top and they're trying to slowly siege this area, where can you be for them to go, oh shit, we're now on a time crunch? So like if you're pushing this tower and then suddenly pushing this tower, they now have to make the decision, are we going to go back and defend this tower? Or are we going to take this and potentially trade a Rax for a Rax? Or if we lose the fight, lose a Rax for nothing? or if we win the fight, we'll trade a Rax or a Rax and a couple kills. If we lose the fight, you might get a tier 3 tower. They're going to die. Maybe someone else comes out to help you. You've now got free reign. You can take a whole Rax. Maybe even a second one. That's a bit ambitious with your items, but like, you can take a whole Rax for nothing. It makes their fight, because it's in your base, it's a lot harder for them to win the fight, and there's a lot on the line. So like, the reason that going high ground is so hard is because of the uphill. And the point of it is, they're trying to take an objective. They're supposed to be in a position where they are stronger, and therefore it needs to be a little bit harder for balance sake. And like, this tower gives everyone a bunch of armor who are under it, and so it gives these guys more chance of winning the fight just from terrain. In terms of items and levels, who knows, it varies every time. And then because it's so much harder, the balance is there's less risk. If they die, it's going to take a long time for everyone to get down here, like almost 30-35 seconds, in which case, unless it's super late game, a lot of the heroes will have respawned. They're not going to lose anything. But if they now have to decide to take the fight with you already knocking on their tier 3s, in that you're going to be taking the tower while they fight, it's suddenly a huge issue, because that balance of they can't get any objectives off this is gone completely. It's you are getting objectives off this, and unless we win the fight, you're going to win the trade. Because if we win the fight, it's now an even trade on objectives. Or maybe we win the fight so quick that we can take the racks and get back before you finish the racks, but that's kind of unlikely. So it's definitely good to try to be a nuisance in that way. When you first try it, as I still do in games where I'm sort of outmatched in people that are better than me, you will die. And that's fine. Like, it's all part of the learning process. You can try it in unranked if you want to, or you can make a second account that you play it on, to test new shit like this. But you want to spend an entire game where you're not hunting to get 16 kills as an anti-mage, because that's not necessary. It happens sometimes, but not necessary. You want to be always looking like you're an issue. You want them to be constantly thinking about you, and you want it to be like, if someone goes, like, let's say Willow goes, hey guys, I've got a smoke, let's go gank in their jungle, then push their top tower. You want one of the other people to go, okay, sure, but where's anti-mage? Like, we have to make sure that he's not pushing this tower, and like, we have to push out all our creep waves before we do this. Otherwise, he's going to be knocking on our door. Another really good hero for that is Lycan. Like, basically, if anyone leaves the tower unattended for 20 seconds, Lycan takes it. So it's like the same premise, but anti-mage is a lot more farm focused. Like, it's okay to push them to the tower and not be hitting the tower and instead go to the jungle. But it's definitely something that you should be focusing on. You spend a lot of time sort of sitting behind, waiting, not hitting creeps, and that is a bit detrimental for your position. On any other role, that's fine. Except for maybe mid, but like as a 3, depending on the hero, or a 2 or a 4, it's generally okay to be sitting and waiting for these fights to happen. That's your job. But as a pos 1, especially a hero like anti-mage or PL or any like high mobility hero, you definitely want to be going for this pressure farm. Like, you've got a good escape, and if you take the cast range, it's even better. So you can be the guy who is taking all that pressure farm and sort of leaving these camps for your slower heroes like AA. And if you are doing this pressure farm, then it makes it a lot harder for them to push stuff in. So yeah, that's basically it. Let me know what you think. If there's something I need to explain a bit more. But other than that, I want you to try this and then get back to me on what you think of it, what's working, what's not, and we can discuss. Anyway, cheers.